Hello and welcome to the Bald Explorers Sunday Chat. I'm Richard Vobes. It's the 14th of March when this goes out. I actually record it the day before, and I know whenever it goes out, there's always people in America who are a little behind, still in a time capsule of their own, and they always say, "Yeah, but it's the 13th, it's not the 14th," or whatever day it is, because I put these videos out. I schedule them at 4 o'clock in the morning. For UK time, and still in America they get them, and still they say, "Yeah, but it's still Saturday, it's not Sunday." Anyway, never mind. Hello, relax, get over it. We're here now. This is my video for Sunday. So this is my little chance to sort of catch up with you and bring you up to speed with bits and bobs that are going on in the world of the Vobes and the Bald Explorer. One of the first things, let me say, is I am, and I know people have commented in the past, but I am going to get some new glasses. As you may have noticed, there is a little white spot. I forget which one side it is. These glasses are slowly falling to bits, and I would have done them ages ago, but what with COVID and lining up outside shops and things and all that, I don't want to do any of that nonsense. I haven't got the time and effort to do that. So I'm after a new pair of specs that will not be so reflective, because in the videos, you know, it seems any light or whatever is like, if I do that, you can probably see it, reflects around. So I'm after some new glasses. There is a place who's reached out to me in Brighton, but I think they're in the lanes or something. It's just not the easiest of places to get to, Brighton, especially if you want to go by van and park. It costs an absolute fortune to do that, and going by train means you've got to wear a mask, and I'm anti that. So what do you do? Anyway, so that's something. Whether that happens this week or next week, I have no idea. In the meantime, I just use a little bit of tissue paper and stick it in there. So that's what that is. This week, there's a lot of thank yous because people have been so kind and generous. Thank you. So first of all, where do we start? Robert Newham got in touch. Hello, Robert. And he said, "I've got some books. I know you like books, and I do love books." He said, "I've got a whole load of books. Maybe if you have got time, come over and pick them up." He's in Hassocks. And so I said, yeah, no problem. We'll come over. So I came over, and he gave me a whole load of books. Too many to go through, I have to say, but I just wanted to highlight some of them. These are brilliant, aren't they? And I've got to do something in the Bald Explorer with the Observer Book of. So we've got one, the Observer Book of grasses and rushes, because I'm always getting those things wrong. Sedges and reeds and rushes and that sort of thing. An Observer Book of architecture, which is fantastic to have in your pocket when you look up and you go, "Oh, is that a Portico? Is that a Doric column? Or is that a Corinthian?" Now, this one gets a bit more complicated. The Observer Book of fungi. Try and work out a piece of fungi from the fungi that you see in front of you. I don't know how easy that will be. Common insects, all those little spiders and bugs and goodness knows what that one comes across. I need to get myself a macro lens so that I can get the camera in nice and close and try and do a bit of bug detecting. This is quite fun. The Observer Book of Weather. We are English, and one of the things the English does is talk about the weather, no end. So I've got to gen up on a little bit of weather, although some of it does look a little bit antiquated here. This is an antiquated looking weather something or other detector. But anyway, all good fun. And Observer Pocketbook of British butterflies, which has all sorts of butterflies. So when one's out, now I've got a couple of books that people have given me on butterflies, but this one's handy because it goes in your pocket. But I think if I carry them all at the same time, I'm going to be somewhat bogged down. The other thing I'm pretty rubbish at is identifying birds. So the Collins Pocket Guide to Birds is a bit bigger than the Observer's Pocket Guide, but it has every bird you can imagine in there to try and get the old Vobes up to speed with knowledge when it comes to the feathered birds. And to help me recognise their songs, apparently the Independent newspaper released a couple of CDs, which Rupert very kindly gave to me. So I'm going to try and learn all of that. My goodness, it's not easy, is it? There's so much in heritage, landscape and nature to try and get to terms with. But I haven't got to do it all in one day or in 1 year. I've got the rest of my life to try and work this. I can't imagine that I'm ever going to retire from making videos about this, that and the other. So plenty of time. And if you're joining me for the ride, then thank you very much. It may take us a while. I also want to thank Jackie Trainer, who sent in a book called Through North Wales on Horseback by Hope Hewitt. This is the story of a... well, I don't really know what the story is, but... yeah, I don't really know what the story is, but I'll tell you the story behind the book, the reason the book has come. I mean, I think it is the story of somebody travelling on horseback through North Wales and the various exploits they get up to. Clearly, that would be gleaned from the title, of course. So we were reading Neighbourhood by Tickner Edwards in my Listen with Vobes channel, which is a separate channel where we read old books. And we do that live, by the way, so people can interact with me as we go, and we break and we listen and we talk about things. And I come across words that I can't pronounce, and I ask the audience, hey, how do you pronounce this word? And sometimes we look up the locations and things as well. And we were reading this thing by Tickner Edwards, and by golly, it was a tongue twister of a book to read. And in the end, I think by general consensus, we decided that having got 2/3 of the way in it, it was time to call that a halt before we all just came to an absolute stop. And I was cursing myself for not being able to read it terribly well. And we were looking for another book. Well, we started another book, which is called London Belongs to Me, and it's a fantastic book by Norman Collins, set in 1938, I beg your pardon, just before the Second World War. And it really depicts London as it was then. Some fantastic character observations, really lovely. But Jackie said, I've got a book that you might be interested to read after that, which is this. So Through North Wales on Horseback is going to be one of those books that we read after that. So that's all jolly. Thank you very much to Jackie Trainer for that. I also want to thank Ed Keeley, who got in touch and has sent me a copy of Curiosities in East Sussex. This is a book, I guess, from the 70s or 80s, which features a number of the old curiosities, including all sorts of weird things. I should think the Royal Military Canal, I'm just looking at here, the Galleon float pulpit, village stocks at Ninfield, all sorts of bits and bobs. So it's going to help me because I don't do very much in East Sussex, and I know you'll be aware of that. And I do want to go further afield, and of course I'm just waiting for these restrictions to lift so that one can get legitimately further afield. Although I think people had been basically doing their own things. Excuse me whilst I have a slurp of coffee from the Bald Explorer mug. Very nice. By the way, you are able to purchase one of these mugs, should you like to. It all helps the old Vobes fund the things. And they're available at baldexplorer.com, and you'll see the on the left-hand side, I think it is, where you can go into the so-called shop and buy those things. I want to also thank Martin Cross, who got in touch, and he said, Richard, I've got a suitcase full of old newspapers from my mother. She collected them from the 50s onwards. And they're all in here. Whole load of stack of old newspapers of Sussex and Worthing in particular. And some of them have been cut out and put into little collections that she did. So there's the Worthing Town Hall back in the day. And if I just show you what I mean, is there are all sorts of strange cuttings from the newspapers. And my immediate thought was, what the hell am I going to do with all of these? Other than I thought, well, it's the history of Worthing and the history of locality. And, it's the sort of things that you don't ordinarily find. So here we go. There's a picture here. I don't know if you can see it. I'm just reading the thing. The mill, which gave its name to the road linking Goring and Worthing, and below the site as it is today, the house 38 Mill Road is now a dental surgery. I actually lived in Mill Road in Worthing. I don't know. Can I angle that round? Can you see that? So fascinating to actually know that was the mill that was very close to where I lived when I first moved into Worthing. Anyway, lots of reminiscent stuff in Worthing now and then, things that have changed. And this is, I'm just looking for some dates in this. This is all from like the 80s, from the 1980s, I think these were published. So I thought there's probably enough material to do a few videos, maybe a mini series of things that have happened based on newspaper reports. So, watch this space sort of thing. There's so many ideas of things to do, but it's trying to get them realised. Also, there was, I just want to say, if anybody is after a copy of Mad Jack, by the way, I didn't bring it into the studio last week. I've nearly finished it now. I've nearly finished it. I'm coming up to that point. And if anyone wants to buy a copy, I still have a discount code which will knock £5 off. So I'll put that in the description again. I think there was an issue with the website last week when I put it up, so I hope they've sorted that out. But anyway, Mad Jack by Annette Lloyd Thomas, if you want a copy of that. So good. Got through all of those things. Another thank you that I need to do is to say thanks for everybody who gave me loads of advice regarding my van. Every time I do anything about the van, people come forward and say, oh yes, Richard, you should do this and you should do that and you should do the other. And of course, I've been inundated with ideas of places to go and people to see, to have a window put in the top on the roof of the van, and different ideas of how to take the bulkhead off and all that. And thank you very much. It is a bit overwhelming. That at the moment, it should be nice actually just to be able to go out in the van and stay overnight somewhere and work these things out. But I've got all this information and I try and get it into the brain. So that's all good. But now that we've got these lovely, bright, early mornings, it's such a good time to get out and before the rest of the world has risen. You know, as we start to get to 6 o'clock and it's a nice bright morning, to arrive somewhere or to wake up somewhere and then do a stroll and an investigation and make a video and all of that is lovely, because you've got more time to yourself. And also the light is particularly beautiful, that early morning light with the sunrises and maybe a little bit of mist and all that. I try to make the photography really good as best as I can, churning out, as I do, a video every day. So that's all good. It's yes, my son and his girlfriend moving out is happening. They've been looking at their new flat, but the solicitors and all of that, the legal people seem to be taking forever, and it looks like they're not going to be out now till the end of the month, which means, from my point of view, I'm trying to get on and build the new studios, so to speak, or at least the space in the upstairs of my house in the master bedroom for the new studio space. But that's going to be delayed, like everything. Everything gets delayed in this world. Nothing really happens on the time scale that you want. So irritating. And I don't want to miss the spring, and I don't want to miss the summer for being out and about, and I don't want to be sort of fiddling around inside for a week or so trying to get all of that organised when there's beautiful sunshine outside. One of the other things that's been delayed and is on hold because of the restrictions, I may have mentioned this a few times, and that is this puppet reenactment about Walter Wilkinson, who walked around Sussex and parts of southern England and other places, in fact, with his puppet show 100 years ago with his Punch and Judy. And lovely Andrew Norris has made some puppets, and you may remember I showed you some of them. And they're just sitting in a box waiting to be utilised, and the whole project is sort of on hold because I don't know what we can do at the moment. I was hoping to do it in the spring, but it seems that all the restrictions, we've got to wait till the end of or the middle of June before anything happens, and then by then we're in the height of the summer. I was hoping to show the hawthorn bushes, the May, as it's known, because that was when he was going through Sussex, and trace some of that. So that's on hold, and I'm not sure what to do about it. I'm sort of very confused by all of these. The long, slow haul out of this restrictions and COVID, and It's just driving me mad. You'll know that I'm not into the lockdown, and we've vaccinated everybody that's vulnerable, and yet we still can't lift it. It just seems obscene. But anyway, we are where we are, and we have to live with that. How are you enjoying the landscape history that I've been doing, where I've been working from Christopher Taylor's books on field archaeology, looking at the landscape in terms of the Neolithic, the Roman, the Saxon, and the early medieval fields? Is that going down still? Is that too much? I'm finding it fascinating. I'm trying to learn. And as I say in the videos, sometimes the easiest way to learn is to make notes and then tell somebody, and it sort of gets it into the brain. And I've been finding that absolutely fascinating, learning about how villages came about, and that change from the Saxon settlements into a decision to relocate the villages. So is that going? Are you enjoying that? Do you want more of that? That would be good. I aim to do more. So if you don't want it, don't watch it. Basically, I mention this from time to time that I want to get into some longer formats. And every now and again, people will say to me, Richard, I'm just enjoying your video and it comes to an end. Please make them longer. Or I could do with another 10 minutes of that. And I want to get into that. And I keep saying that I want to get into that. But I suppose what I'm trying to do is work out how to break the mold, because I can't do those on a daily basis because there's a lot of work in it. And every time you add an extra 2 or 3 minutes, you need to have something to keep it going, keep the pace going further afield and all of that. So I'm it's in my head, but I feel like I ought to be delivering this stuff immediately, but it's taking time to fruition. The fruition is taking. What is this? That's a fruition. What's the to fruate? That doesn't sound right, does it? Anyway, to seep, or steep. That'd be better. To steep in the brain. It's steeping. That's what it's doing. And also on that, at the moment, with the weather and things and the restrictions and all of that, I feel quite tethered at the moment. I'm feeling the frustration. I feel like I'm treading water and I'm not bringing you enough outdoors and landscape heritage and nature. I feel that after this last year, it's been, I'm just treading water, and I'm feeling guilty that I don't, if the weather isn't nice, and we've had some miserable days and windy days and wet days and all of that, and I don't feel I'm doing some indoor videos. It's like this week, this is the third of a number of indoor videos, and I haven't been out and about bringing you the landscape heritage, and so I feel very guilty about that, because I'm trying to bring you a video every day, and sometimes it's just difficult, and then I chastise myself for not being able to do it. So I apologize if I don't get them out and as nice and as luxurious and as beautifully filmed as I would like. Sometimes it's just difficult to get that done. Anyway, I'm waffling for too long in this one. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. Have a great weekend, or what's left of it, because it is Sunday, or whatever day you're catching up on this. And I will catch up with you on another Sunday chat, hopefully next weekend. Hope I haven't missed anything out or missed anybody out that needs a thank you, but thank you very much. Don't forget to follow, like and subscribe. Become a patron and support what I do. Buy a lovely mug if you so wish with the Bald Explorer on it. And I will see you out and about on a video very soon. Till next time, bye-bye.